Hi and welcome back to Days Well Spent. In today's video, we're going to be putting the shade cover on that new shade cover structure that we built earlier this year. It's the beginning of June and we've had several days in a row where we've hit over 100. The plants by mid-afternoon are starting to look a little droopy. Started to see a little bit of the fruit starting to burn in spots, and the leaves have, so it's definitely time to get that shade cover on. Now, in previous years, when you guys saw us put the shade cover on, if you remember, we had a wooden structure and we put the shade cover on through some eye hooks. This year, with our new cover, we're just using some zip ties. This process should go a lot faster, putting it up and taking it down. Scott's putting it over the middle beam. That middle beam prevents the shade cloth from drooping in the middle, gives it some support. We've got those metal grommets, and he's just running the zip tie through that and then around that I-beam, that metal beam. Now, I know some areas of the country don't need shade cloth, but if you're in an area where it gets pretty hot, say above 90, and you're growing tomatoes, and you notice that midsummer or mid-peak of the hot temperatures, you're starting to see your blooms drop off, shade cover is going to reduce the temperature enough that you're going to extend your growing season. You're going to extend it because it's going to be cool enough underneath the shade cover that you're not going to have your blossoms drop. A tomato plant will not produce blossoms or hold blossoms when it starts hitting over about 95 degrees consistently. You can go back through some of our previous videos and we've actually shown the temperature difference in and out of the shade cloth, and it does drop the temperature by at least 10 degrees. In the link of this video, I'm going to go ahead, because everybody always asks us what we're using, and I'll put a link to the shade cloth cover that we use. It's just a big roll of garden shade cloth, and you can purchase it at garden stores, but we found it most economically on Amazon. And you can get different degrees of shade covering based on the area that you're at and how much shade you need to provide. I'm not sure if we have a video of it or not, but I'm sure somebody that's not used shade cloth is wondering if the rain does go through it, and the rain does. Our garden gets watered. You can come out when it's raining and it's dripping through the shade cloth, so that's not a problem. But then, you know, we also have the rain barrels that catch the rainwater for us, and we use that to water the garden. So you can see each shade cover section has three zip ties on each end, so a total of 6. One of the things that you want to be careful with shade cloth, depending on where you live, is putting it on too early. Previous years, the first probably 5 or 6 years that we used shade cloth, we waited until June to put the shade cloth up, and the plants responded very well to that. We had already had big thick stalks on our tomato plants. Then the last couple of years, just more for convenience, I started putting it on early spring, almost around the same time I planted. And we definitely noticed a correlation between our plants becoming more leggy because it was shaded and they were early on, you know, reaching for the sun. So you do want to wait until the temperatures are consistently warm and it's actually going to protect the plants. Like I said, putting it on too early, you may end up with some leggy plants. Now, the biggest problem with leggy tomato plants is they're not structurally strong enough to support a lot of fruit or heavy fruit, and that means that your branches are going to break. If you're watching this video and you're curious about how we built the shade cover structure, we do have a video that goes through the process of how we built this one, and then the previous one that was made out of wood. I'll leave a link to both of those down in the description. Now, if you choose to use zip ties like we did, you do want to make sure that you go back like Scott is and trim that piece hanging off, especially if it's down low where it can end up hitting you in the face or the eye. That's just going to get annoying while you're out working in the garden. All right, there you go. We've got our shade cover up. We'll go ahead and we'll leave this up until the temperatures begin to cool down. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give us a thumbs up. If you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, and be sure to visit dayswellspent.com.